since I went to work at the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan, I've been very active with CMF, attended all of the annual meetings. When I got to McGregor, I was elected to the board of CMF, served on the board for 9 years, chaired it for 2 years. It feels like I've served on just about every committee that CMF has. With M&A, I watched the creation of it, and I've been a member, I've been involved with organizations that have been members all along, and certainly we've supported the work of M&A, and really felt that it was a very important partner organization to CMF. Likewise, with the Johnson Center, I watched the creation of that. We had an opportunity to provide startup funding for it. And I've been involved in projects where the Johnson Center has been an important partner, most recently with the Learn Philanthropy effort on grantmaker education. Miles has been an important part of the planning of that. And it's been exciting to watch the Johnson Center become a really widely, nationally recognized center for philanthropy and grantmaker education and all of that work. Yes, it was 1986 that I went to work for the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan. Well, I was born and grew up in Midland, Michigan, and when I was young, I got active in the youth fellowship at the church. And so that was probably my first experience with greater good, community good kind of work.
What was your congregation?
Presbyterian. And, that was in the 60s. And there was so much focus on the outside world and how can we make communities better? And I had an opportunity 2 summers in a row while I was in high school to go to a statewide Presbyterian Youth Leadership Conference. And so similar to, what CMF did at Spring Hill, I had a chance to spend a week with young people, high school students from all over the state. And I began to understand that my hometown of Midland isn't like the whole world, and that there are lots of other places where people live and lots of other perspectives that they bring. And so I think that was the start of that kind of view of how broad and rich and diverse the world is. And then I had a chance in college. I went to Alma College, a small liberal arts college. I had a chance to be a resident advisor and work with the students that lived first on my floor and then in my senior year in the whole dorm that I was responsible for. And I had always thought I was going to go to law school after graduating from college, but I so enjoyed that residence hall work that I decided to go on and get a degree in counseling with a focus on higher education counseling. And so I did student affairs work first at Alma College and then at the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. And then I had a chance to meet Miriam Noland, who was starting the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan. And she offered me the opportunity to go and look at working with a much broader community than I'd been doing at CCS. And at CCS, which is in inner city Detroit, I not only worked with the students on campus, but also got involved with community groups in that neighborhood who were working at developing affordable housing, working with the Coleman Young administration, and I wound up being appointed to the Citizens District Council by Mayor Young, so I could have a formal role working with these groups. And so, it feels like for much of my life, I've been working with groups thinking about how can we make our neighborhood, our community, our region, the country, a better place to live. And to be able to do that from a philanthropic seat is a very honored position. And every day we think about our founders, Tracy and Catherine McGregor, and the philanthropic work that they were doing in Detroit. And we spend a lot of time thinking and talking about, well, how would Tracy and Catherine have felt about this? What sort of a funding decision would they have made? And we have those discussions with our board of trustees as well. We remain very cognizant of what the founders were interested in.
Were your parents activists?
My dad was an educator, and my mom was a community volunteer. She did lots of volunteer work with the church, with the hospital, and I think it's partly been through example, talking about the things that we're interested in. We talk with her a lot about the organizations that Susan and I are involved with, the organizations that we're supporting ourselves personally, financially, and she has become quite an activist herself. She was in India doing work earlier this year in a very small rural village, and she has decided to make this the subject of her doctoral dissertation. She's in the second year of her PhD program. And she is so interested in how people live in this community. The national government is trying to move poor people out of the way so it can be developed for tourist uses. And Morgan is working with the local population to find ways that they can connect with the tourism economy that's going to be coming to this region that's now a World Heritage Site. So we're proud of her.